Welcome to Back Alley Bonsai. My name is Michael. It has been a toasty 90-degree day. It is now about 6:30 on a Sunday, and it is still 85 degrees outside in true Los Angeles fashion. Today, what I'm going to be working on is these 3 apple trees. I grew these 3 trees from seed last year. Like many people, I found myself at home with a lot of free time and decided to try and see if I could grow some apples from seeds in some apples that I was eating, and had pretty good luck. I got 3 nice healthy trees out of the mix. They're all very strong, very well rooted into their respective pots. And have each made some interesting decisions. So I'm not going to be doing anything too nuts as with my last 2 videos. Mostly going to be doing some light pruning on them and some styling work, and I'm going to be wiring these branches to get a little bit of movement in them and get them a little bit more interesting. I don't plan on letting these trees get too much bigger than they currently are. I think they're kind of where I want them to be, but I do want to kind of try and experiment a little bit with them because they didn't cost me nothing. So may as well play with them. You know, why do any of this if not to have fun? So I will bring you in closer, and we will get started on wiring and doing some pruning on each of these little apple trees. All right, so the first one that I'm going to be working on is this tree right here. It's got kind of a nice long flowing branch right here. It's got another major branch right here. And as you can see, I did one chop on this thing right at the end of winter, just to prompt some new growth out of it. Did a second chop right there. This one actually had some fungus problems, so I had to make some leaf cuts on it. And there's a lot of older leaves growing out of the bottom right here. So I'm actually going to kind of start by removing some of those older leaves. Going to get them out of the way. Okay. Get that one as well. See some signs of leaf scale on here. Yeah, there we go. And that right there. Hopefully you can kind of see that a little bit. That is a scale insect. These will basically be little sap suckers, and they will drain your plant dry and suck a lot of its vitality if you let them. So you gotta make sure you're keeping your eyes peeled for them. See if there's any others on here. Usually they're going to be on the undersides of the leaves, or they're going to be on the trunk. They're fairly easy to treat. You can use neem oil on them, or just regular old soap and water will actually take care of them as well, help dry them out. I don't see any others. I'll have to check the other 2 plants for them to make sure I don't have any stowaways on there. And for this tree, I'm just going to be wiring up these 2 branches and just kind of putting a little bit better movement. I tried a couple of experiments and got kind of some crazy movement out of these things, and by crazy I mean ridiculous. Like I don't really want it. It looks interesting, but it's a little bit too chaotic, and I'm not quite sure what to do with it, to be honest. So get something a little longer in there. That should be okay. I think about there will do. I'm going to just wire these 2 branches to each other. There we go. There's that one. And again, just kind of shooting for my usual 45-degree bends on the wiring whenever possible. And what I'm doing is I'm actually bracing the branch as I'm turning it. I'm not just like coiling it around the branch. I'm actually taking one hand and bracing the wire and holding the branch in place while I move the wire around the branch so that I don't overly stress the branch and accidentally cause a break while I'm wrapping it, because that can happen. I may have underestimated on my, some of these leaves out of the way. May have underestimated on my wire a bit. That's okay. I think it's enough to get the job done. All right. So that gets us some ability to kind of start moving these branches around a bit. Well, and that is exactly what I don't want to do, is break the branch. Cool. Well, you learn something new every day. The break did not go all the way through. This branch is actually still really green, so it'll probably heal over. It'll have an ugly scar in it, but that is actually probably survivable for this tree. This branch is a lot stiffer than I anticipated. Holy moly. For being essentially a brand new branch, this thing is really heavily lignified. So I'm going to try and kind of patch that back together a little bit. Never let it be said that I am an expert at this. Like I said, I'm just kind of going for something really kind of wacky on this anyway. Just to kind of see how the plant reacts to some of this. All right, there we go. Not much at the moment, but there we go. That is that, and I'll do a little bit of end pruning just to kind of tighten it up a bit. I'll get rid of this edge over here. Cool. And then this one over here. We will clip that back as well. Clip some of my excess wire there. Cool. And there we go. There's apple tree number 1. The next tree that I'm going to work on is this one right here, which is in this little bonsai training pot. I got these super cheap from the Bad website. You can probably figure out which one that is. As you can see here, it's actually got kind of an interesting, it's not the best looking sort of root base, but it is interesting looking and I like it. So we got all this cool like twists in it and got all this above ground root showing, all of which I kind of like. I think it's characterful. It's not the best from a bonsai perspective, but you know, it's okay. Again, this tree is only 1 year old. I literally started growing this one last year. So same thing. I'm once again just going to wire up the branches, and I'm going to start, you know, moving them around a little bit and seeing if I can get some different movement in this tree. I may also wind up wiring this trunk just to kind of get some additional movement out of it. It's got way more flex in those guys than than the other one did. Okay. So about there-ish, I think. Let's see. And start off again by just getting rid of some of this foliage that's not doing a whole lot of good by being so close to the center. Kind of get it out of the way. Way too aggressive. All right. And just kind of wiring these for some kind of movement. Oops, lost that one. Turn that one all the way back towards the front. There we go. And similarly with this one, we'll start putting some bends into it. This is all pre-bonsai stuff anyway. Like it's early days yet on these plants. I got a long way to go. I think I'm going to leave this central part alone for now. I think I may clip it back a little bit further, actually, to probably here. See, there's some nice new fresh growth coming on. right back here. And then we'll clip this back. And we'll leave this alone for now. That just got trimmed. Again, this tree also had some fungus issues, so there we go. Just having funsies with this one. Okay. And then the last of my apple trees is this one right here. And you can see this one is very tall and thin. I gave it kind of a corkscrew trunk and had really hoped I would get some branching on this thing. I cut it back a couple of times and it didn't do anything. It just kept shooting straight up. So I'm having an interesting time with this particular bonsai, which is in this drum-shaped training pot. And I think I may get real crazy with this thing and see what I can do, because this trunk has a lot of movement in it still. It's got a lot of room where it can really do some really crazy things. Yeah. Just because it's got so much movement left in it. So yeah, we'll see. You know, every weird thing you do, especially with a young tree where you have the rest of your life to work on it, is, you know, another opportunity to kind of see what interesting shapes you can come up with on it. You know, that's not a good long-term solution for the tree, but it is sort of an interesting, you know, position to start from. There's lots of buds all along all of this, and would probably start growing upwards from there. I think I may do that just to kind of see what it does. It may do nothing interesting. You can see a bunch of dead aphids on here, by the way. This one had aphids. I have had a pest-filled spring and summer. Yeah, so I'm going to do that. I'm actually just going to do kind of a string and just attach it right there, I think, and loop it through. So I'll be right back. Let's see what we can do with that. All I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a simple little square knot in this. Bit of string. I don't want it to be too tight because the tree is going to grow a little bit. Fortunately, with the jute twine, it should have a bit of give on it that it shouldn't negatively impact the tree too much. And then see, there's a little bit of a hitch in the trunk right there, which I think is enough. And I can just get the friction to sort of hold it in place. How to tell I was never a Boy Scout. I cannot tie knots to save my life. There we go. A little simple overhand knot will work. Get that cleaned up a bit. And again, it doesn't have to be fancy. It only has to make it a few months until the tree sets. Yeah, it looks real weird. That is a nutty bow on that, but we will see. Maybe something interesting will come of it. Maybe it'll form itself into some sort of a cascade. I am going to cut it back a little bit though. So we'll take off some of that, and we'll take off some of this as well. And obviously I'll do some updates in the future on what is happening with this tree. This tree is, you know, obviously just getting started, and I've decided to do something very weird with it just to see what I get. Well, there you have it, everybody. This is my wacky pre-bonsai apple tree wiring and weird shapification episode. If you have any thoughts or comments, please leave them down below. If you have any suggestions about any of these trees, please let me have your suggestions. I'm happy to hear them. I think you guys have great ideas. If you haven't done so already, please hit the subscribe button in the bottom right corner of the video. It does help me out a ton. If you decide later on you don't like the channel, you can always unsubscribe. It doesn't cost you a dime. And other than that, everybody, have yourselves a wonderful day.